Hi everyone, welcome back to Mike on Mike. Let's check out the films that came out on Friday and see if they popped or flopped. Okay, so here are the results. Pretty interesting. I've been reading that Project Hail Mary is doing good. I said 150. It's made 80 million domestically, so that's interesting. It'll probably hit 200, 250 in another week or two, unless people don't want to sit through the almost 3-hour runtime, or maybe the company can't flood it with good reviews to trick everyone when maybe if it is bad, those reviews are gonna, distract from the good ones. So we'll see another week. But I guess Project Hail Mary technically flopped. If the budget is really not 200 million, if it's 100 million or 150, Project Hail Mary might have done well, but I think Project Hail Mary technically flopped with 80 million. I think it's higher worldwide. And then Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, I said top 5, I think. So Ready or Not 2, that's interesting. 10 million. I said that it was going to do 15 million. So Ready or Not 2 actually popped. We're assuming the budget is around 6 million like the first one. If it's higher, then it flopped. But I'm like the first one, it popped. And then I said the Pout-Pout Fish is going to make 500,000. I think it was under that. I forgot where it was at. As you can see, it's not even on here, which means they got rid of that movie. They said, Mr. Offerman, you're out. Get out of here. It's not on here at all. That's so funny. How to Make a Killing's down here. Marty Supreme is still there. I just watched Marty Supreme. That is such a good movie. Such a good movie. I really like that one. So wild. Yeah, so these are the rest. And then the movies that are still there. Hoppers. I said it was going to floppers, but I am so surprised that it poppers. 120 million. That's really cool. Durandar, The Revenge, actually came in third, I guess. Or it's probably, this might be limited. Or that one, I don't know, actually. I think that's limited. Ready or Not 2, fourth place. Pretty cool, 9 million. If it's $6 million budget again, it popped. And there's probably going to be a third one with probably a $9 million budget, which means it'll probably make 10 or more next time for the third one. We'll see how long this movie can stay in at least the top 10, specifically top 5. But if it can stay in the top 10, which I think it will, for at least a week or two, and then it should make a lot of money by the end of its runtime. Let's see. Reminders of Him. Very interesting. I guess it's like probably maybe the better of the recent films of that style, maybe, for it to still be here. Scream 7. I guess it's the highest grossing film now of the Scream series, I guess. Goat, still doing well. Very surprising. Undertone, underperformed. Well, no. Oh, yeah, I remember. Yeah, it was $500,000 budget. That is insane. It's got mixed reviews with the audience, but financially it popped. That's insane. That's cool. They're going to make Undertone. Well, that guy's going to get another movie for sure. I mean, because at some point he's going to get a good one. There's no loss of money, so there's no issue, really. And then Wuthering Heights, I think, is out of the theaters now. I think all of these... The Bride might still be there. No, I think they probably pulled that. What else? Zootopia 2, they could probably pull that. They don't need that there anymore. Pillion, Solo Mio. A lot of these movies, Marty Supreme did well. A lot of these are going to go to streaming. Solo Mio is not that good, I think. And then, yeah, anyway, in The Moment. Oh, The Moment's that one lady. The Drama is the other one that's coming out. Another A24 movie. That's That one should be Zendaya and Robert Pattinson, so that should be pretty cool. All right, yeah, so those are all the results. Now I'm going to check out if there's any new reviews for these films. Okay, so first one we'll check out is Project Hail Mary, which is doing pretty well. It's kind of strange. It seems like they changed things. It seems like they didn't really need to change everything for the, since it's a book adaptation. It feels like they could have maybe split it, or why don't they just do like a little series? They could literally make a series, Project Hail Mary, the 4-part series. It's, really straightforward or whatever. Okay, so some of these reviews, there are 719 reviews. This one was March 23, so today, somebody just posted it, I guess. 8 out of 10 for science. From the same author as The Martian, Project Hail Mary presents an exciting and novel situation where a cosmic parasite, the astrophage, is literally eating our sun and every other sun in the galaxy except one. Like The Martian, this story presents a character who faces an almost impossible problem, yet overcomes it with clear, rational thinking, scientific knowledge and approach, and determination. Where this difference is in the introduction of Rocky, an alien on the same mission to save his own world. See, I just don't know. That's so weird. Why? I was saying on Friday, if that's the twist, then what? Then there's no twist? Like, that's the twist? So nothing happens in the movie? Then it's going to be like he saves his planet, rather than a twist being like the rock guy is an enemy and he did that and he's trying to distract this scientist until the earth blows up and the sun and then he doesn't care. That would have been a big twist. Or the rock is Ryan Gosling's character from the future with a lot of evolution and mutation, and now he's a rock for some reason, caused by everything. And he's trying to go back and meet himself. I don't know. Like, there could be a twist like that. So, I don't know. This continues saying, overall, the story is not as scientifically rigorous as The Martian, but the performances are excellent and the friendship is truly heartwarming. That's probably going to be the best part, is the banter, The film is never dull or unengaging. The action pieces are used to further the story, not distract you from the absence of one. More like this, please. Huh. So, I mean, I know that's a thing. If a movie is good enough, you're not going to be checking. You're going to be so distracted from the runtime. So, hopefully, it is that distracting on that end. And then again, I guess the thing is, like, it's not going to appease the book readers, and that is probably a small percentage, unfortunately. The other amount is, like, mainstream people who this is targeted for, to make something that's, a blockbuster or whatever, but to get money, And I was saying, if they made it for the book readers, they're going to get like $5,000, That's not enough. So they need to choose, so they chose the bigger audience. And if this really does have all the things that this person is liking and that the audience is liking, then yes, this is a correct approach. The 2 hours and 40-minute runtime is correct. So yeah, this is a good thing then. This is probably a pretty good review until we find a 1 or 2 star. 9 out of 10, amazing like the book. One of my favorite books got turned into an incredible movie that delivered so well. They cut out some of the science, but overall it stayed so true to the source material. It had heart, visual, score, plot, and was so great. When reading the book, I could think of about 10 people I preferred to Ryan Gosling, but Ryan did amazing. See, that's what I'm saying. If Ryan Gosling is too distracting, it could be a problem. But maybe his, like him being miscast or whatever is probably a positive. Like, they wanted somebody who kind of doesn't fit in. Like, Tony Stark has that coolness to him, right? He's kind of quippy and sarcastic or whatever, always saying things, Well, I'm probably not going to read any more then. I'll just read some of the ratings. 8 out of 10, Project Hail Mary. 10 out of 10, possible new favorite movie. 9 out of 10, Time Go. 3 out of 10, classic and boring, imaginary and childish. Okay, I'm going to read these 2 low ones. I didn't even realize it's a fictional movie because most of the plot was talking about a lonely human being and a designedly adorable alien. Hey guys, WTF, it's that. I have not seen the original novel, but I just can't understand why do you think a living rock, which seems like a puppy adopted by human, and a strangely smooth process of a space travel mission can move y'all. It burst into tears. This guy might have gotten drunk, went to go see the movie, and then wrote this right after or something. I don't know. He obviously didn't rewrite it. He must have just voice said it and then just hit submit or enter. I don't know. Childish. See, this could be true. So I don't know. But if that's true, then this is only a few of them. It's obviously not enough. 10 out of 10 sublime. For me, one of the best movies I've ever seen. It reflects human emotions. It connects so well with the audience. All this stuff. But it's a movie for the whole family. It has funny and touching moments. And I'll say it again, what a good movie it is. In comparison to 5 out of 10. I want to like this, but I'm not sure why this is so highly reviewed. It was okay, but I can't give much more than that. The comparisons to Interstellar are ridiculous, and it's nowhere near the same class. I actually fell asleep midway through, and my wife had to nudge me to wake up. I really like intelligent sci-fi, but there was so many basic plot holes. It was just boring. There's a reason that not everybody's a writer, right? This is. Did he write this in his sleep during the movie? He must have passed out, subconsciously wrote this, or I don't know. Or his wife put the phone in his hands and he's just like, because and no one read this. Just hit enter, I guess. 5 out of 10, a warning track. Fly ball. Okay, well, maybe I should read it. Once again, Hollywood finds a way to ruin a good book. This movie is an eye roll fest of moronic movie tropes. The departure from hard science to ridiculousness left me seething. The director decided to cut out very impertinent details regarding the story that have playtime at Home Depot and karaoke singing instead. Okay, see... Taking its cues from Disney, the director made Rocky into a cutesy sidekick so they could sell Rocky merchandise with Fist My Bump on it. This is a believable one. This movie further validates my concern that Hollywood is incapable of making an intelligent film. There you go. 5 out of 10 disappointment. I'm not going to read any more, but I am going to sort these into... I'm going to sort them into 1 stars and see how many there are. 28 1 stars in comparison to 308 10 out of 10s. So maybe that's what I'm saying. Not a lot of people are going to know the book. This is for everybody else who didn't read the book, and that's what the company wants. They don't want, if you read the book, get out of here. We changed the movie. Get out of here. Here's some of the Rotten Tomatoes ones. The overall critics' consensus is that a visual dazzling space odyssey that's carried alongside effortlessly by the gravitational pull of Ryan Gosling at his most winning. I probably read that one on Friday. Let's read some new ones. Let's see. These are the critics. Wenlei Ma, the Nightly, gave it 4 out of 5 tomatoes, saying it soars on the immense likability of Gosling's presence, working in perfect tandem with directors Phil Lord and Christopher Miller to create an incredibly crowd-pleasing film. Radayan Simonpillai from CBC Radio gave it 1 tomato, saying it's very Ted Lasso in space, a funny and heartwarming crowd pleaser, but about sad men making friends, which on the flip side is lacking tension, antagonism, and conflict. See, conflict is very important. Yeah, the thing should have been like, they should have had opposing ideas on what to do, and then they argue. That, let's see what else. Yeah, one tomato. Audience one saying, someone gave it 2.5. I had hopes for this movie given this stellar ratings, but honestly, I found it overlong and kind of boring. Kathy gave it 5, stars, saying nonstop laughter, tears, and suspense. Best movie I've seen in a long time. More 5 stars, 5 stars. Okay, well, yeah, so I guess Project Hail Mary, it technically flopped with whatever it said, 80, but it'll definitely be successful at the end of its run. I wonder what it's going to make. I'm going to say 300, 350. It needs to make 500, right? 500 million? I don't think it's going to do that. Let's see. I don't know. If it's that grand, it just seems like it's missing some story points. Some, you know what I mean? Some elements that are like conflict. There's a ticking time bomb, it seems. Character arc. If the character had like a drug addiction or something that's causing the mission to not go through and he overcomes it, you know, something like that is probably needed. But overall, I mean, the reviews are pretty high. So Project Hail Mary flopped with 80 million to 100 million-ish. Now we'll check out Ready or Not 2, Here I Come, which popped. It's very, very cool. They're probably going to make a third one, most likely. I think it's pretty obvious. It's actually, no. If the story is whatever, financially, they're probably going to make a third. Whether it's making up the story, that's what they got to go with. Is there more story and it needs a third, or we didn't lose any money? It's up to you if you want to do a third. And that will be determined as a cash grab or legitimate trilogy, you know? Hopefully it's not a cash grab. Hopefully there's, more story. It almost, I forgot about that. It seems like it's like hide and seek. Oh, I'm sorry. What's that movie? The Catch Me, Now You See Me, Now You Don't. This is hide and seek, the game. So do you think they should have done the same? Because it was Now You See Me too. And then Now You See Me, Now You Don't, which should have been the sequel, right? Or I don't know what they would have done for a third. It would have been the whole phrase. So, but this would be Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. But I don't know. I don't think there is any more. Ready or Not 2, Here I Come. There's no more to that phrase for a third. It'd be Ready or Not, Here I Come 3. Ready or Not 3, I guess. I just don't even think it would work with the title. Anyways, so yeah, this has some reviews, 68. This is probably, this is a new review, 6 out of 10. This was funny, but I found the first film outshine this. I don't know what people are talking about in these reviews. Can I just say the weapon sounds could have been more varied and of higher quality? When you have a blade, when you move a blade up, it doesn't need to make a cheesy sound effect. And some characters are a bit one-dimensional. Why are y'all saying this film has a bigger budget compared to the first? Yet it feels like the first is leaps higher quality and more polished film? What? I also didn't particularly like the color grading here. Too blue. And the CGI blood took me right back to circa 2010. But that's why the budget's low. Could have been cut better. The sequel honestly feels like a 10-year-old film already. But the first felt recent. This is like a 6.5 out of 10 realistically, but the first Ready or Not was so beautifully shot and so well done. That film definitely got like an 8 out of 10 minimum. Okay. Go watch the original if you haven't. It's mandatory viewing and just riveting. This part where she says, when you move a blade up, why are you saying this film has a bigger budget compared to the first? It might though. It's not. I'll go check in a second and see if it's actually there. There is no budget available, but it's probably the same, if not maybe doubled, or rounded off to the nearest 10 maybe. It would be 5 million. It would be 10 million. But with the extra 5 million, don't you think they could have gotten like the squibs? Hey, we bought 2,000 squibs. Okay, I don't know. That's weird. But so the budget was, but the first one did really well. 8 out of 10 Ready or Not 2, Here I Come cranks up the chaos of blood and the dark comedy, proving Grace isn't done playing just yet. 10 out of 10 amazing sequel. That was a fun watch, and I loved every second of it. Grace is one of my favorite modern final girls. I enjoyed the first Ready or Not movie because the plot is actually entertaining, and I was not disappointed with the second one either. Anything with rituals and elites, secret societies, delivered with a bit of comedy is fun to watch. I was afraid of it being bad because most sequels are not so good, but this one, I loved it. Addams Family Values is a good sequel. I didn't like Migration 2, whatever that one was. I didn't like Den of Thieves, Pantera, but the second one, whatever. I don't know. Some weird, to do a sequel, hopefully they never do like a Scarface 2, the ghost of Tony Montana or something. That'd be so dumb. I'm sure it's already on someone's desk. Then 5 out of 10, despite involving multiple families and rules, this sequel still ends up feeling quite repetitive. Still ends up feeling quite repetitive. 8 out of 10, stepped it up. 6 out of 10, chaos. 6 out of 10, satisfying sequel. Well, it seems like overall most people liked it. Let's see how many 10 stars there are. 14. And then 9 reviews, 4 9s. Then 13 8s. Then 9 7s. 13 6s. Let's jump to 1 stars. 13. So it's mixed, but I don't think it's like The Strangers bad. The Strangers chapters 1, 2, and 3. They had to just keep going with those, I guess. And they're so bad. Which I got some of the Rotten Tomatoes reviews. 75 on the critics side and 90% on the audience side. Let's see, I probably read this one already, but it says, tempting fate by picking up where it left off after an extended absence. Ready or Not 2 cheats the sequel curse, thanks in large part to Samara Weaving's ferocious commitment to the bloody bit. Critics reviews, Peter Travers from the Travers Take gave it 2.5 tomatoes out of 4, saying, Scream Queen Samara Weaving is back in this horror comedy as a bride who takes her vow of till death do us part way too seriously. There's more of everything this time except for the irreplaceable shock. This guy, Tim Roby from the Daily Telegraph, gave it 2 out of 5 splats. Ready or Not 2 has way fewer laughs than its fun predecessor. 0 scares, no surprises, the same old gore, CG, and, well, actually, maybe props, and characters who aren't even enjoyably loathsome. Nick Shager from the Daily Beast gave it a tomato, saying, thanks to a host of colorful performances and an emphasis on over-the-top violence, they mostly pull off their double-dip trick. Over-the-top violence. So that's the comedy part. And then, so maybe they needed the CG for that. Must be a reason. And then the last one I read is Frank Switek from One Guy's Opinion gave it a splat, C-, saying, more of the same, but bigger, dumber, and even for inveterate genre fans, less fun. Less fun. If you're not one of those fans, you're likely to find it over-the-top nasty, but curiously dull. Merely an invitation to wallow in. So yeah, it's probably like, maybe they did some squib stuff, some prop stuff, and then the rest filled in with CG blood or whatever. Yeah, so there's some reviews here. Well, I mean, they're all like mostly high ratings, I guess. So that's good. So Ready or Not 2 popped, which is so funny, with 9 million. It's definitely going to make 20 or 25 at the end of its run, and then they're going to make a third for sure. And then the last film we can check out is the Pout-Pout Fish, and I can't believe like no one's talking about it. That is so weird. Yeah, the Pout-Pout Fish. The Pout-Pout Fish. Look, 8 reviews. The Out Fish. Flopped like a Pout-Pout Fish. That is a shame. I wonder how much it actually made. Can you imagine? It looks kind of kiddish. If a kid saw it, they'd be like, let's go see that. And then, oh, it's not here anymore. What? Let's see. Oh, well, 1 out of 10 stars. 8 reviews, by the way. 1 out of 10 stars. Worst movie of all time. I hated this movie. I genuinely couldn't stand it. It was so bad. The seahorse was annoying, like really annoying. The plot doesn't exist, and they try to make it emotional, but it doesn't land because there is no plot, like at all. The story doesn't move, and it has no real meaning or message because it's so poorly written. I went to see it because so far the animated movies I've been seeing have been really good. That's funny. This was probably the biggest disappointment I could have ever thought of. Yeah, that's... Don't judge a movie by its movie poster. That's funny because Hoppers is doing well. Go is very surprising. 7 out of 10, A Cure for the Jury Wearies. Oh, man. 1 out of 10, Dollar Tree direct-to-video. Yeah, I read all of these. That is unfortunate. I can't believe that. I mean, it's not even in the theaters. They didn't even give it, like, a chance, really. Well, I might... It doesn't matter. It's not good. Did they really say, hey, I'm not liking this movie, and they filmed it, and they said, okay, save the money. We're not going to do any marketing for this film. We don't need any marketing. It doesn't matter. Here's the Rotten Tomatoes for it. 69% from the critics. Must be the people who work for the company. I don't get it. And then the audience didn't even rate it. They didn't even bother rating it. Fewer than 50. It's not enough to even... All right, well, that's weird. Peter Travers, again, the Travers take. We have 2.5 out of 4, saying this animated tale of a grumpy Finn boy is as bland as blueberries. That's some wonder if sad Mr. Fish can inspire suicidal thoughts. Nah, Mr. Positive Messaging swims will all these fishes. Wow. This guy went to see that other movie, gave it a review, went to the bar, went to go see this movie, and then was sick of reviewing things, probably did voice to text, and just pressed enter. I'm assuming it's positive messaging. Positive messaging swims with all these fishes. This is a legitimate person writing this. This guy's a professional. Why is he submitting these kinds of reviews? I mean, the overall 2.5 out of 4, that's probably correct. Randy Myers from San Jose Mercury News gave it 3 out of 4 tomatoes, saying the Pout-Pout Fish takes full advantage of the underwater population, has a clever enough screenplay, and a terrific vocal performance from Amy Sedaris. Oh yeah, I read that one. There's no new reviews then. Yeah, 2 days ago. So no one even cares about Nick Offerman, the main person of this movie. Like, what? Amy Sedaris? I'm not even familiar with her. Wouldn't you comment on the main person, Nick Offerman? His voice is extremely iconic. I don't get that. There's actually some box office stuff, by the way, for the Pout-Pout Fish. It made $500,000. It grossed worldwide $2 million. I said $500,000. $2 million is actually, I mean, surprising. It's not bad or good. Oh, it's bad, but it's surprising. No, that's not really good. I mean, for a kid-looking movie, and apparently it's got some not adult moments, but not kid moments. It doesn't seem like it's kiddie-like, you know, like PG, whatever. So that's very, very interesting. So yeah, I mean the Pout-Pout Fish. So I mean the Pout-Pout Fish flopped with 500,000, which is what I said. Poor Nick Offerman. How sad. This is what this guy gets. So Project Hail Mary flopped with 80 million. Very surprising. I think it'll make up I think it's going to make 300 or 350 at the end of its run. If the movie really is that good and stuff, it can push past all the stuff they removed, then Project Hail Mary will be successful, I guess. I mean, it needs to make 500 or 600 million, so we'll see. But Project Hail Mary flopped with 80 million. Murder Not 2, Here I Come, actually made 9 million. So it popped. Very surprising. I think it's going to make probably 20, 25 million at the end of its run. The 7 stars has got kind of a high rating, and I'm assuming because of the financial stuff and just because of the studio, they're probably going to make a third if they can get the name to be correct. then there'll be a Ready or Not 3. But until then, we'll see. But so far, Ready or Not 2 popped with $9 million. And then the Pout-Pout Fish flopped with $500,000, $2 million worldwide if you want to be generous. What a shame that they would treat an iconic actor like, well, a voice actor, like Nick Offerman like that. Such a shame. But the Pout-Pout Fish flopped with $500,000. All right, so those are all the films and the results. We can now check out the movies that are going to come out on March 27. 4 films. So we have the AI doc, or How I Became an Apocalyptimist. That's a real movie? Is that a mistake? And from Focus Features, that's a legitimate studio. That is really weird. That's gotta be that one movie, Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Stop Hating the War and Love the Bomb. You know, one of those non sequitur, like, hey, don't crush that dwarf, hand me the pliers. That's a reference. You know, so kind of funny. And then Forbidden Fruits from IFC Entertainment Group. And then The Mummy Returns from Universal. Oh, I'm not going to cover that one because that's a re-release. And we're having Lee Cronin's Mummy coming out, right? When's that one coming out? Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Isn't that coming up in a few weeks? Yeah, April 17. So yeah, I'm not going to cover that one though. Just 3. And then They Will Kill You from Warner Brothers. I wonder what's going to be like. And then a lot of these other limited ones. Yeah, I don't think I'd be checking out those. So yeah, the AI doc, or How I Became an Apocalyptimist, Forbidden Fruits, and They Will Kill You will be the films that we check out on Thursday. Okay, and that wraps up this episode. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Comment down below about what you thought, and I will see you in the next episode. Peace. 1,